Okay, did it do it? Did it do it? Yes, it did it. Okay, standing. I know. Okay, and I'm really hot and hot. Okay, so finding your stance. And just feeling your weight down through one leg. Maybe even just notice if you're on the inside of that leg or foot. And then the other side, just that downward sense of how the weight is stacking. Where's the weight through the foot? And then if you suspect you have more weight towards one leg, go ahead and let your weight come onto that leg. Right, so your hip over your thigh, over your knee, over your foot. Just feel into what that feels like. Just to give that leg your full, not whole weight, obviously, but just that sense of vertical weight. And then shift over to the other leg and notice how that feels. Down through the leg, up through your spine. Good. And then again, just a little shifting side, center, side. I definitely have a sense of one leg takes more weight. And then maybe a little forward and back. Okay, feet a little wider. I just want to start with this just to warm up the body. So you can have feet more parallel or toes turned out a little bit. Just letting ankles, knees, hips, spine, shoulders, neck rotate. Good, and again, there can be less rotation, so you get a little more kind of front ovaries, uterus, back rectum, right, closer to the center line, and then outer line, right, more outer hips. It's our gallbladder line, the full side of our body, which is a really interesting line. Kind of seams us together from front to back. Good, and then maybe bending a little bit more, coming up into the higher abdomen, intestines, upper sacrum, and then waist, stomach, liver, kidneys in the back, spleen in the back of the liver. Good, bending a little more, maybe even lower ribs, at your kidney area, lower lungs, diaphragm area. And then a little higher, right, shoulder blade and front chest, lung, heart, front and back. Pumping, tapping, and then go ahead and work back down in the body. You can even do outer breasts. Lower ribs, diaphragm, upper kidneys, lower kidneys, waist, stomach, liver, colon, intestines, rectum, and uterus, bladder, all the way down. Just nice big swings. Good, and then coming back to center. Good, let's just do a couple rolling down. Chin to chest, feeling the flexion in the neck and then letting the shoulders roll. Really elongating the spine as you roll, like you're feeling that outer curve of the back body and the inner curve of the front body. Both trying to lengthen. Knees can bend when you're down and then slowly roll back up. Good, let's take the arms out and up, lifting the eyes up. And exhale, arms down. Chin down. Again, long front body, long back body. As you curl, feeling into the places that are right? There's a place where lots of vertebrae want to fold at once. See if you can slow it down. Ask for a little more articulation, differentiation in the bones, tissues. And all the way down and then slowly back up. And inhale the arms up. And exhale the arms down. And just a couple more of those. Inhale the arms up. Looking up, exhale the arms down, looking down. Again, any sense of drawing in nutrients, nourishment. Whatever's in your immediate area and even beyond. Clean, fresh air, sunlight. Fresh oxygen from the trees, plants. Sense of color from the plants, flowers. And pause. Okay, just a little movement with the arms. So let's do one hand on shoulder, just do a little roll. Elbow forward and up and out to the side and back and down. Like just as smooth and clear as of a circle as you can, and then changing direction. So back and out and up and forward. Good. And then let's go forward again and do the arm. Right, really letting whatever wants to turn, right? Maybe as you could start with nothing turning and just seeing how that shoulder girdle moves around the ribs. And then maybe let everything follow. Notice the difference. And then let's change direction. And maybe the ribs stay more neutral. Arm back and out and up and forward. What is the movement without moving the whole body? And then let everything move. Good, other side. Right, bending the arm, hand on shoulder, up and out and back and down and forward and up and out, back and down. Right, just feeling the clarity of it and the stickiness of it. Going slower if it feels really thick, changing direction. Noticing your breath. Right, sometimes we hold the breath. Good. And then let's extend the arm. Same thing without ribs moving, just finding that movement through the shoulder girdle. Right. collarbone, shoulder blade, upper arm. How do they move around the ribs? What feels more free? What feels more limited? Don't forget that forward reach. Good. And then let everything turn. Ribs turn, waist, pelvis, head. Good. Other direction. Ribs first or ribs still first, going back. And even notice the relationship. Arm, neck, head, chest, upper back. And then letting things turn. Ooh. Good. Let's bring both arms. It's nice to do them separately because I think sometimes the brain organizes them or feels them at the same time or similarly. And then back, reversing direction. Good. And then pause. Great. So you'll go in and out. Ooh, actually, we have a block here. Let's grab a block. I haven't done this one in a while, so it's kind of interesting, and we'll open up the shoulders and again a different way. So hand, block in hand. I'll just take the block towards the belly and away from the belly, so we get that little internal and external rotation. And again, you can play with isolating the movement at the upper arm, or you can let the whole shoulder girdle move, right? Shoulder blade moving wide and forward or back and in. Good. Maybe a little down and a little up. Good. Down and forward, up and back. Good. And then let's play with almost pulling the hips out of the way to get that block to come all the way around and behind. All the way around and maybe even out and forward, right? Just seeing what is available, right? It doesn't matter how you move your body. Again, you can go much slower. You can even do a little around the head. Right, like you're cleaning the ceiling. That's what it looks like. Right, just a little wiping. Wiping of the block against the ceiling. Right, maybe add that in so it's more of a figure 8, doing one little circular pattern low and then one circular pattern above. Good. Feeling your range of motion in your wrist and your arm and your shoulder. Good. And then just pause. Other hand. Just starting simple, little movement at the upper arm, shoulder joint, right? Upper arm turning. Good. And then letting the shoulder girdle move, right? Shoulder blade going back and in towards the spine. And forward and wrapping around the ribs. Maybe even a little down and a little up. And did you start with your dominant hand? Good. And then letting that block come, right? Moving the hips out of the way so you get this little wider internal and external rotation. So it's a whole shoulder girdle, internal, or everything from hand to shoulder girdle. Right, ribs aren't moving quite as much, but a little. But you can play with that, maybe letting the ribs really turn in and turn out. And how is this side different? Good. And then maybe adding a little sweeping the ceiling. This one's much harder for me. On this side, so a little circle below and a little circle above. I need a little assistance on that side. Good. And just feeling what's available. Let me grip on this one. Good. One more. This is when I get to see how my left hand or my right arm compensates for my left. Okay. And just pause. Good. Just block down for a moment and just feel. Just feel your upper body. Okay. Let's just do, I'm just going to play with legs together. Let's just do one leg out to the side, maybe arms out, one leg behind. So that same arm up and over, just a little side body. And then out to the side and in front and across. Maybe let's do a little tip, getting the other side body. Maybe both. And then out to the side, maybe a little lift. And back, and touch and tip. My front leg is straight. Both legs are straight. And again, maybe let's tip to the other side, just getting both side bodies. And then again, just a little balance. Out to the side, maybe just a little tip, right? A little movement towards Ardha Chandrasana. And then forward. And then side. And other side. Good, last one, just a little lift. Again, maybe a little tip. Maybe. And then behind it, maybe even go further back, letting the front knee bend a little. So we have a little bit more of a, somewhere between a pigeon and a warrior one. And again, just a little side sweep. And other side. A bit of a balance challenge. And then back up to our balance, our little side bend, maybe a little tip. Oop, doesn't have to be big. Oop. And then let's step that other foot forward. Again, a little bit bigger, same thing, that's bend that front knee. And a little tip, a little twisted warrior one-ish shape. And side bend, other way. Good, and center. Good. Other leg. Good, inside. And behind, keeping it small, both legs straight. Tip to one side and just feeling the difference. Having one leg be the anchor. Little balance. And in front. And little tip. Good, you can even play with looking down or looking up. And other side. Right, changing your view will change your balance. And then little tip. And behind. looking up or looking down. Good, and again, a little balance. Maybe even letting that leg come up, just thinking about Ardha Chandrasana. And other side, other leg in front, or leg in front. Looking to the hand, either hand. And up, and again, little balance. Notice if this leg is easier to balance. And stepping back. And let's go a little further back and let that front knee bend. And again, a little tip. Again, play with eyes. It's much more interesting than head neutral. And then other side. We get to really feel how much the head has influence. And then again, little balance. And then stepping across, again, a little further out, bending that front knee. More of a twisted warrior one shape. Good, and tipping to the other side. Looking up, looking down. And center. Last time, little balance. This is my wobbly leg. And center. All right. Okay, let's do one of these standing. Just gonna grab 2 blocks. Yeah, this way. All right, so I'm just gonna tip forward, hands on blocks, and maybe let's bend the knees, especially if the hamstrings are tight. Just give them a moment to acclimate, bend and straighten. And then let's bend the knees a little bit. Feet don't have to be all the way together for this, but let's play with just a little bit of cat-cow, right? So a little bit of flexion, pulling the sitting bones down into the backs of the knees, and then letting the sitting bones lift. Right, again, doesn't have to be a big pull on the tissue. It's really just reminding the hamstrings that there's movement. Right back in that sitting bone area. Just feeling the tissue around, right, as there's more contraction as you flex, and more, I guess, space or length or opening as you lift. Good. And then pause, and let's go ahead and again bend and straighten the legs, and notice if there's a difference. Good, and then feet a little closer. Again, you can always have the knees slightly bent. There's nothing that says they have to be straight. But let's take one leg back and up, warrior 3-ish shape. Good, feeling the legs almost hug the center line. So standing leg and lifted leg. And then let's go ahead and bend that lifted leg and straighten. And bend. And straighten. And again, standing leg can be bent, and then bringing that foot down, and then other leg back and up. The legs hug towards the center line just a little. And let's bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. You can even point and flex. That's interesting. On that top leg, you can even lift and lower the heel of the standing leg. Good, and leg down. Let's do that first leg again, forward and up. Good. And then I'm gonna let my weight shift. So the standing leg hand stays on the block, and we're gonna open up to a little Ardha Chandrasana. So pelvis turns towards that lifted leg. That same arm up. Little Ardha Chandrasana. You can even lift the leg that's up even higher. Again, that standing leg can be bent. And then let's slowly bring that hand down. And we're just going to play with taking that other hand off the block and just bring it onto the hip and look over that shoulder. It's our preliminary. And then both hands to the block and bring that foot down. Good. Other leg back and up. Good. And again, let's turn. So the pelvis will turn, that top leg, knee will turn to the wall. Standing leg, same arm on block, Ardha Chandrasana. Just feeling that symmetry, head, ribs, pelvis, leg. Lifted leg can even lift a little higher. And then bringing that hand back to the block, leg is still lifted, and take the other hand onto the hip. Maybe just looking over to that shoulder, past that same shoulder. Good, and both hands on the block. And both feet on the ground. Good, and let's bend knees and round up. Just stand, nice and easy. Okay, I'm gonna bend the knees a little bit. Actually, let's play with a little bit of just, I'm separating the feet enough just so I can do this, right? Taking one foot and just spin it out to the side, the toe out, toe in. So I'm externally rotating, internally rotating. You can do it with the leg straight. And then let's try with the knees bent. And again, with a straight leg. So it's a little more up into the hip. Focused on the hip and the knee bent. Still focused on the hip, just slightly different. And then other side, other leg. Again, start with the leg straight, toes out, toes in. You can even put your hands on your body just to feel all the tissues that internally and externally rotate the leg. And both knees bent. Little dance move. Good, and then straight leg. And bent leg. Good, you can even do little heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, and go the other way, right? So the legs are same thing, same time. Little shimmy. And shimmy the other way. Okay, good. All right, so let's bend the knees a little. I'm going to turn this way. Do the best you can. I'm just going to take right leg up, externally rotate it, ankle to knee, and then hips go back. You can also do this in front of a chair or at the wall if the blocks are too low. Good. And I'm just going to play with a little bend and straighten of that standing leg. And again, not all the way straight because my other leg will slide off, but just a little deeper bend and a less bend. Good, and maybe a deeper bend and pause and breathe and look over one shoulder. And look over the other shoulder. Good. And then I'm going to straighten that standing leg, and I'm going to take this leg that's bent and I'm just going to slide it off of the standing leg and just shoot it out to the side for a moment. And then bring the feet together. Good, other side. So let's come up to stand. It's easier to do it that way. Bend the knees a little, ankle to knee. Hands on blocks. Just a little bend and straighten. Good, deeper bend each time if that feels available. And then deeper bend, pause and look over one shoulder. And look over the other shoulder. Good, and then I'm going to let that standing leg straighten. I'm going to take the bent knee, pull the knee out to the side, maybe extend the leg out to the side. And then bring the feet together, bend the knees. And round up. All right. And then, running out of time, but we are going to come to the floor. Just wanted to do a little bit of a standing pose on the floor. So having the support of the floor. Okay, so knees bent. Hips back, shoulders back, head back. Let the hips settle. Good, and then letting the legs straighten. Good. Good. And then we've done this before, it's been a while, but I'm going to take that right elbow and the right knee towards each other, right leg externally rotates, knee and the elbow are going to pull towards each other, and I'm going to roll onto my side, right? I'm pulling that left arm and left leg around to meet that right arm. Okay. I'm going to take that left arm up to the ceiling and left leg, reach it forward, left arm reaches back. And then arm comes to the ceiling, left leg comes below the body, and then I'm just going to switch. So left arm comes forward, left leg comes back and up. And then left arm up to the ceiling, left arm back, left leg forward. You can make this bigger and bigger as the body allows, right? Head can even be off the floor as that leg lifts up and back. And as the arm comes back and the leg sweeps forward, you can even pick the foot up towards the other hand. Right, just play with what feels available. Good. Good, and then I'm going to take that, the arm that's on the floor up near my head. So as I come, right, maybe that arm comes overhead now. As the leg goes back, the arms cross, and I'm a little bit more on my chest as that leg moves back. And then again, as the leg comes forward, kicking it up. A little bit of a twist. One more. Good, and then coming back to where I started. Okay, and then I'm going to straighten the bottom leg. So now both legs are straight. So a little bit more of a balance challenge, but I'm going to do similar, and then I'm going to go top arm back, left leg, left arm back, left leg forward. And then arm overhead over the other arm, leg over the other leg. And then as I come forward, so that left hand comes to the floor, that right arm is going to slip behind me, and I'm just going to maybe reach the hand towards the foot towards the hand, forehead's on the floor. A little bit of a rotated Nacharadasana. Pressing the foot into the hand, so I get a little posterior tilt. And then same thing, arms come over, right? Left arm over the right as the arms cross. Left arm comes back, right arm comes forward, left leg comes forward. Rotated triangle. And then the leg, left leg goes over the right leg, left arm, right arm meet overhead. The right arm goes back, left arm forward. Bending that left leg, maybe finding the right hand, maybe. Good. Releasing, right arm, left arm come together overhead, legs come together below. One more. Left arm back, left leg forward, and then switch. Legs meet, arms meet, right arm back, left arm forward. Left foot finding that right hand. Good, and then release. And come onto your side. And roll onto your back. Okay. And then let's do the other side. So left elbow pulls to the left knee, that left leg externally rotates, elbow to knee to elbow, right arm and right leg get pulled above and below around to meet the left side. Good. So right arm to the ceiling, right leg starts to pull forward, right arm pulls back. And then right arm to the ceiling, right leg moves back. So you can again start to bring that left arm up towards the head. Right arm back, right leg forward, maybe even kicking that foot up towards the opposite hand or up. Little rocket. Again, you can keep tipping forward to swing that right leg back and up. Just play with what feels interesting. Good. Last one like this. And just play, just a little sweeping back, sweeping forward. You can change tempo if that feels interesting. And then straight arm. Or straight arm close to the head, straight legs, bottom leg straight, 2 straight legs. Same setup, but you can sweep the arms close to each other, legs close to each other, but one arm, top arm goes back, top leg goes forward, always oppositionally. And then legs come together, arms come together, and then the opposite. That left arm's going to go back as that right leg goes back, bend that right leg, maybe a little fold of the foot, rotated Natarajasana. And then again, legs come towards each other, arms come towards each other, and then switch. Again, finding a pacing that feels smooth and interesting. Again, you don't even have to bend the back leg. That's just a nice little front hip, front thigh opening, feels nice. Good. Top arm back, top leg forward. Again, the legs don't even have to be fully straight. They can be bent, just playing with that, rotating around your body with the support of the floor. Right, you can even bend that knee as it sweeps forward. Good. Good. And then roll to your side. Roll to your back. And pause. Nice. Bend your knees. Just a little simple sweep. Knees, side, center, side, center, side. Center, and let's pause on one side. So if my knees are pointed to the left, I'm going to take the right foot to meet that left foot. So back foot to the front foot. Just pause and breathe. Let's do one arm circle. So take that right arm towards the head and around the head. You're just going to, again, turn you onto your side. Top arm around the bottom arm towards the knees. Across the thighs, the hip out to the side. And then sliding that top foot away from the bottom leg, roll onto your back, and let's roll to the other side. Again, back foot slides to the front foot, just stack the feet. Good, and then left arm towards the head, around the head, forward, and down, across the leg and hip, and behind the body. Then let that top leg slide away from the bottom leg, roll onto your back. Good, let's tip again to the first side. So back foot slides to the front foot, knees just a little bit higher. And so knees almost as high as the hip, that little rotated, more depth in the rotation. If that feels good, you can support the knees with your hand on that side. Let's do an arm circle the other way. So arm down towards the hip. Let the head be heavy as the arm reaches away from. Okay, so even as you slide along the outer leg, that arm is reaching away from the weight of the head. And forward. And around the head. And out to the side. Good, stepping that, sliding that top leg away from the bottom leg. Nice, easy roll onto the back. Letting that waist get heavy for a moment before we tip to the other side. And then when you're ready, tipping, sliding the back foot to the front foot, knees a little higher, as high as the hips if that feels available. And supporting the knees if that feels helpful. Or the lower knee if that's too much rotation. Good, left or that back arm sliding down towards the hips, along outer leg, again reaching away from the head, getting that nice top shoulder side neck opening. Using that weight of the head as a nice opposition. As that arm sweeps forward, past the other arm, around the head, and back out to the side. Good, top leg away from the bottom leg, onto your back. Crossing my right ankle onto that left thigh. Just a simple anterior posterior tilt within that figure 4 stretch. Good. And just a little side, center, finding a nice cadence or rhythm or even width, right? You can stay closer to the center line or go wider. Just listening to your body. Feeling into what feels what feels helpful in this moment as we're winding down. Good, and let's come to center and just bringing the foot that was on the floor into the chest. You can wrap hands around either the shin or the thigh, that leg. And even here, just letting the head tip to one side and letting that tip the torso, pelvis. Just that same side, center, side. Just feeling into the ground beneath you and your weight on the ground and the movement or the breath. Creating movement even on micro levels. And left foot down, right foot down. Pause before we do the other side. Good. Other leg. Again, just a simple cadence, side, center, side. We'll be letting the head roll with. Same direction, opposite direction. Again, just really listening to the ribs in the back, the waist, the belly, the throat. What gives you more space or ease. And then bringing that knee into the chest. And depending on how tight that hip is, this movement could be quite small. This little tipping the head to the side, letting the torso follow. It's this little side to side rock. And even letting the head get heavy, really feeling your weight on the floor. The head, even the neck and throat. The places that still feel resistant, mid back. It's a big place, lower back. Upper shoulders. Hands. And when you're ready, bring your feet back to the floor. And just extend legs, bring one arm overhead, and we're just gonna slip one leg over the other and roll onto the belly for a couple moments. You can stack your hands, put your forehead on your hands. Good, and just kind of toggle your hips side to side. Good, and then pause that and let's bend both knees so the feet just lift up over the knees. Feel what happens in the lower back or front hips. Lower the feet. Put just a little weight into your pubis. Lift the feet again.
and then not too much effort on the pubis heavy, but we're gonna let the feet now sweep side, center, side. So listening to the shape of your back and what feels good. Again, be close to the center line, or as you get more familiar or more comfortable, the feet can go wider. And feeling the movement, where is it smooth, where is it sticky, what is the cadence that feels really good for the breath. Good, and then pause, just letting the feet fall into each other. And maybe even here, just a little bit of anterior, posterior. What does it feel like in this different position? Good. Extend the legs, feet back to the floor. Even here, a little anterior, posterior tip with straight legs. Or maybe even slow enough to feel what happens below the pelvis and above the pelvis as you anteriorly tilt and posteriorly tilt. Okay. Let's turn the head one cheek to the back of your hands, relaxing the legs, hips, back. And head to the other side. Feeling your weight on the ground, top of the foot and shins and thighs, pelvis, belly, breasts. And maybe extend the arms or bring the arms out and let the head come to the floor for a couple breaths. Good, and then you can stay here for a couple more breaths or roll back onto your back. Just taking that time, belly down, right? The sensitivity of the belly, right? The spinal cord is also quite highly sensitive, but the organs have right, there's more protection around the spinal cord, the spinal nerves and the autonomic nerves move into the tissue, into the body. Organs are much more sensitive, highly sensitive. Less structure or strong tissue around them. Again, at any point you can roll onto your back. Just that sense of belly, organs, the autonomic nervous system, even our fatty layer, our superficial fascia is highly innervated. Very responsive to our emotions, holds hormones. We tend to think of the brain as having most of the neural intelligence, but
enteric nervous system from mouth to anus with the whole GI tract. And the autonomic nervous system, most of your organs, highly intelligent. Just that entrainment with the ground. That slow, regenerative soil. Just mirroring our regenerative cells and tissues. When you're ready, just a little movement and fingers and toes. And even that sense of, right, all the intelligence with the earth, all of our little animals, our mycelium networks, right, that mirrors the intelligence in our body and entrains with our body. And moving hands and feet to little arms and legs. Gently rolling. And coming up to sit. One hand on heart, one hand on belly. Just feeling your body from the outside, reminding, feeling that body from the inside, how the breath moves, heartbeat. Let's inhale for one Om. Let's do one more, just letting that sound move through us and out into the world. Stay.